From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jeanelle Slade. Tonight, an update on the state of education. A concern for Billings teachers was avoided in the state legislature this week, but brings to the forefront a behind-the-scenes conflict in School District 2. Well, earlier this week, 3 right-to-work bills that opponents claimed were aimed at weakening Montana's unions were defeated on the floor of the state legislature. Now, one group paying particular attention to the outcomes. School District 2 teachers are now breathing easier, but say they are far from happy. Q2's Casey Conlon reports.
They had the opportunities to, make us feel valued without any monetary risks involved. I guess my question is, why wouldn't you do that?
When House Bill 251 was introduced into the state legislature on January 26th, the Montana Federation of Public Employees went to work. The state's largest union, mainly comprised of teachers, knew the sweeping right-to-work bill could drastically diminish their bargaining power if passed.
Right-to-work laws are designed to eventually disintegrate a union.
So the teachers union began asking the state's largest districts to roll over their current contracts for the next several years as a protection and show of good faith. Billings Education Association President Doug Robison also asked for one more thing.
Teachers in our contract are required to notify the district when they would like to retire, and that date is March 1st. And I simply asked Mr. Upham to extend that notification date until we as teachers feel a little bit more secure about what's going to happen in Helena. Those are the 2 things that I've requested. Neither one of them would cost any money at this point. It creates a simple sense of security for all the teachers.
And Superintendent Upham hasn't been willing to do that as of yet?
No, I've met with him several times. I read a statement to the board at the last board meeting, and I've been met with a negative response to both questions.
When asked why he wouldn't commit to the proposal, Upham pointed to School District 2's current budget concerns.
The level of deficit that we have in our elementary budget, my concern was just unintended consequences of not being able to just completely negotiate in a full-blown manner. We have to have all the tools in the toolbox moving forward to address this issue.
Last year, SD2 cut $4 million from its operating budget to address the shortfall, mostly through eliminating almost 40 full-time equivalent positions.
And I'm noticing some words that we know right in the title.
But after losing almost 400 students to homeschooling because of the COVID-19 pandemic, Upham estimates a minimum $2 million deficit once again next year.
That's without any negotiated amounts on salary adjustments. So that's yet to come. And that you're talking large dollars when you're talking about increasing compensation.
But teachers say this wasn't about wanting more money. This was about sticking to a contract both sides have already agreed to. And that's led to the potentially bigger problem: a growing level of distrust, especially after enduring one of the toughest school years ever.
Everyone felt that going back 5 days a week and getting the kids back in the classroom would be the best course of action to take. However, at the beginning of the year, we were met with things like no contract, an immediate change in schedule.
And staff have really stepped up and I think overcame a lot of challenges and went above and beyond and did an awesome job. So in turn, we were just asking for something in return so we feel valued and maybe appreciated for what we've done. So when the superintendent said, no, we're not going to do that, boy, that made us feel like, okay, we're not appreciated, we're not valued, and that hurts.
Upham says he is empathetic to the teachers' concerns, but again pointed to the bottom line.
The courage that it took for our people to do the work that they've been doing, of being able to stay in school. So yeah, it's a difficult response and surely not intended to be disrespectful. Just trying to do the best that I can moving forward to make sure the district's in a good spot to do our best for years to come.
Based on recent history, Teachers worry that spot won't include all of them.
I hope our district can overcome the financials problems that we're in, but I would hope that they would put the money into educators, because if you put the money into teachers and education, in turn that helps the students and benefits the students, and that's really what we're here for.
Casey Conlon, MTN News.
Now, the current School District 2 teachers contract expires on June 30th. The two sides will meet again this summer to work on a new deal. Well, Congresswoman Deb Haaland is now one step closer to confirmation to become the next Interior Secretary. With an 11-9 vote, the Senate Energy and Natural Resources Committee advanced her nomination this morning. If confirmed, Haaland would be the first Native American to lead the Interior Department that oversees 500 million acres of federal land, 62 national parks, and the Bureau of Indian Affairs. Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska joined Democrats on the committee to advance her nomination today. But Wyoming Senator John Barrasso delivered sharp criticism before the vote.
The people of Wyoming deserve straight answers from any potential secretary about the law, the rules, and the regulations that will affect their lives and their livelihoods. They got very few of those. In addition, Representative Haaland seemed unaware of President Biden's policies' destructive impacts, policies that are taking a sledgehammer to Wyoming and other Western states' economies.
The full Senate will now vote on her confirmation. Well, as of tonight, 1,391 Montanans have died from COVID-19 related illness. The latest two reported deaths are close to home in Yellowstone and Bighorn counties. 73 people are hospitalized tonight across our state, and nearly 100,000 Montanans have recovered. And we're learning more tonight on the 3 Gallatin County cases now classified with the UK variant strain of the virus. We now know all 3 individuals were under the age of 50, but the health department has not identified any connection between the cases. Gallatin County Health Officer Matt Kelly says a lack of connection and the absence of travel may indicate that this variant form is circulating widely in Montana, and we just hadn't confirmed it yet. All 3 of the cases are now recovered, but one of those patients did have to be hospitalized. Well, by the metrics, Montana is doing well when compared to the rest of the nation for vaccination distribution. MTN's John Riley caught up with Senator Jon Tester, who says more can be done, especially with the state's veteran population.
COVID vaccination efforts by any agency ultimately depend on the number of doses they receive each week. The state of Montana is quickly approaching around 10% of the population fully vaccinated, while the Montana VA has only had the doses to vaccinate around 5% of the 47,000 individuals they serve. Senator Jon Tester, chairman of the Senate Veterans Affairs Committee, wants that improved.
I think the VA overall is doing a pretty darn good job, but the VA in Montana, I give them high compliments for what they've done. They've tried to get out to rural areas. They're of course working in the more populated areas of our state, and they're doing a great job. And they have capacity to do a heck of a lot more. I think the big challenge with Montana VA and with VAs around the country, we just need more vaccines.
The Montana VA has been at the forefront of vaccination efforts, particularly for rural veterans. They have piloted programs using fixed-wing aircraft to deliver vaccines to some of the state's most rural areas. According to the Montana VA, individuals they serve on average are more likely to have health conditions that put them at risk for serious complications from COVID compared to the general public. Tester has been lobbying to get the VA more doses, and the VA nationally recently received 600,000 more doses, with hundreds of additional doses headed to Montana. However, Tester says that still more needs to be done.
Absolutely, we do not have enough vaccines. Unequivocally, we need more vaccines. In not only the VA community, in not only the Native American community, but everybody else too. At some point in time, and hopefully it's sooner rather than later, there's going to be more vaccines than arms to be put in, but we're not there yet.
Tester hopes that Congress will quickly pass the new economic stimulus package, which will increase vaccine doses across the country and provide economic relief as well. Reporting in Helena, John Riley, MTN News.
All right, thanks so much, John. Now, the Montana VA has increased vaccination efforts in recent weeks thanks to increased doses available. More than 13% of enrolled Montana veterans have now received at least their first dose. Well, online appointments are now open for next week's free COVID-19 vaccination clinic at Metro Park. That includes everyone in Group 1B+. So all individuals over the age of 60. You can make your appointment at mtreadyclinic.org or by calling 406-651-6596. You can also head to ktvq.com to learn more. Well, 3 Montana veterans organizations will soon benefit from a multi-$1,000 settlement involving an illegal raffle enterprise. Montana will get $35,000 total, $25,000 of which will be divided between 3 organizations: Montana Warriors on the Water, Montana Wounded Warriors, and Montana Veterans Foundation. Now, the settlement follows a series of nationwide and international raffles held by a South Carolina nonprofit. The nonprofit sold tickets in states where such sales were illegal, and a substantial portion of raffle proceeds went to administrative costs instead of maximizing the amount donated to veterans charities.
But it was through the roof. This is just a huge opportunity with us and where we're at right now with phasing into a new location and having more capacity to serve. We need some things, like we need a big van and we needed a new security system and more staff. So any kind of financial help that we can get it's just a godsend, really.
Under the settlement agreement, $10,000 will also go to the state general fund. Well, the newest nuclear submarine that will bear the name of the state of Montana is moving closer to joining the Navy fleet. The future USS Montana has now been launched in Newport News, Virginia. The nuclear-powered Fast Attack Virginia-class submarine will now go through a period of testing and training with the crew. The commanding officer, Captain Michael Delaney, has visited the state with a couple times with some crew members. He says they are committed to making Montana proud. Now, the sub is expected to be commissioned into the fleet in early 2022. Up next on tonight's MTN 530 News on Q2, a Billings student is up for one of the most prestigious STEM scholarships in the nation. We'll have those details. Plus, the catch of the day. As a Montana man smashes a nearly 70-year-old brown trout record, we will show you. And in sports, March Madness continues on the hardwood as the Rams look to punch their ticket to the State A semifinals.
And the only real weather question these days is just how warm did it get? Today we got plenty of sunshine, temperatures 58 officially in Billings. The forecast coming up.